Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Fawn. I have worked in product management for the past 10 years. Most recently, I was a director of product at a startup, and previously, I was a product manager and PM interviewer at LinkedIn, Spotify, and Amazon. I have seen hundreds of product manager resumes during my career, and today I want to share with you 5 tips for a great product manager resume that will get you the interview. Okay, tip number 1, you need to solve the hiring manager's problem. One of the most important jobs of a product manager is to understand users and their problems. In the job search process, the hiring manager is a user who has a problem and needs a solution. So ask yourself, what is the hiring manager's need and how can I find a solution? Your best resource is a job description. Let's take a look at a job that I found. Going through this, we see the hiring manager wants someone who can understand markets, competition, and user requirements, work collaboratively with cross-functional partners. Have you done anything similar to this in the past? We also see that this job is on the commerce team. So if you have any e-commerce experiences, you should highlight that on your resume. So for example, when I applied for my first product role, the hiring manager wanted someone who can launch a 0 to 1 educational product at Amazon. Even though I had no product management experiences at that time, I was able to show my track records of launching educational related apps. So focus on how your experiences can solve the hiring manager's problem. Tip number 2, better user interface leads to better engagement. Your resume is not only a first impression of you, but it's also a product that's made by you. We know a recruiter only spends 7 seconds on your resume, so a good template might just make the recruiter pause a few more seconds. So choose a clean and simple resume template. Here's a resume template I've been using. You can download it for free by clicking on the link in the description. Tip number 3, less is more. So limit your resume to 3 sections. First, basic information. Include your full name, email address, and phone number. Things like addresses, personal websites, LinkedIn, and GitHub are optional. You likely have already included them in your application. Second section, education. Include your higher education degree if this is applicable to you. Third section, experiences. This should be the main focus of your resume. You should concisely describe the overlap between your experiences. It could be from your work, from your school project, from your side hustle, and the experiences required for the job that you are applying for. Sometimes people like to add additional sections such as accomplishments and skills. I personally prefer to add them to my experiences section. For example, instead of writing that I'm proficient in SQL in my skills section, I would then actually describe an instance when I use SQL in a project in my experiences section. Tip number 4, use the job plus impact formula. So one of the most common mistakes people make is to only write their job description without showing the impact. Don't do that because the interviewer don't want to see just a copy and paste of the job description. So how do you avoid this? For each position, describe the job you've accomplished and the impact. When possible, always quantify the impact. For example, in my resume, I list the job I did, which is added a social sharing feature, and then the impact, which is increased monthly new user by 30%. To make this even better, start the formula with an action verb whenever possible. For example, achieved, initiated, led, drove. Taking the previous example, if I use an action verb, it will say, led the launch of a social sharing feature, which increased monthly new user by 30%. For each position that you've held, use this formula, job plus impact. Lather, rinse, repeat. And finally, tip number 5, cut and prioritize. Remember, your resume has only one goal, and that's to convince the viewer that you have the skills needed to do the job. For everything you list on your resume, ask yourself, does this add or distract the viewer from understanding my PM-related skills? Keep your resume to only 1 page. If there is something extra, try to cut and prioritize the PM skills first. I've worked for over 10 years, and my resume is still only 1 page. So you can do it too. Okay, that's it. These are the 5 tips to a great PM resume. I hope you learned something new. Remember, like any product, a good resume is an iteration, and it will take a lot of reflection and some rejections to get it right. But you only need 1 yes to that job, and a good resume is a start. Okay, good luck.